The afternoon of December 14, 1994, was cold and bright at Disneyland. Holiday music filled the air, Chio carts steamed beside candy cane fences, and families posed beneath the massive Christmas tree in Town Square. Among them was the Roberts family. 12-year-old Emma, dressed in a red coat and purple scarf, stood next to her mother Sarah and younger brother Jake. They had just exited the ride, It's a Small World, laughing, sharing snacks. At 3:17 p.m., Emma asked to go to the restroom, which her parents agreed to. She walked off alone, heading toward Tomorrowland. But she never arrived. Surveillance footage captured Emma weaving through the crowd, then vanishing near the Space Mountain corridor. Not another trace of her was seen. Panic erupted. Disney cast members locked down the exits. For 3 straight days, park staff and Anaheim police searched the grounds. They drained the ride canals. They combed through parade floats, backstage alleys, trash chutes, even employee lockers. Nothing. Disney issued a statement calling it a tragic case of a child becoming separated and lost. But Sarah Roberts didn't believe that. Her daughter had been anxious in crowds since she was 6. She hated loud noises. She never went anywhere alone, especially not in Disneyland. Then came the first red flag. Disney announced all security footage from that day had been accidentally erased. Hard drives corrupted. VHS backups missing. One moment Emma was there, then she was nowhere. But one tape survived. 28 years later, in February 2023, a package arrived at Sarah Roberts' doorstep. It had no return address. Inside was a dusty VHS tape labeled, Backup, December 14, 94. With shaking hands, she inserted it into an old player. What it showed would reignite the entire investigation. The footage began at 3:22 p.m. It showed Emma walking near Space Mountain. Then, a Mickey Mouse character appeared, not waving, not dancing, but walking toward her. One detail immediately felt off. Park protocol requires costumed characters to never remove their gloves in public. Yet this Mickey's right glove was torn, ripped across the palm. Emma paused. She pointed at the glove. The figure quickly stuffed his hand behind his back. The footage zoomed. The tear revealed dark stains on the white fabric. Later forensic tests would confirm it was human blood. Type AB negative, an extremely rare match to Emma Roberts. Disney's internal records showed only one Mickey performer was scheduled in that section that day. A man named Greg Thomas. But Greg was accounted for, and his suit had no glove damage. So who was the second Mickey? 3 days after Emma's disappearance, 37-year-old Thomas Finch, a part-time Disney security guard, was found dead in his Anaheim apartment. Authorities ruled it suicide. Pills, alcohol, no note. But the autopsy quietly told a different story. Finch had bruises along his neck. His hyoid bone, a U-shaped bone in the throat, was fractured, a classic sign of strangulation. His sister, Claire Finch, spoke to a local journalist. She said Thomas had called her hours before he died. His words? "I saw something underground. I saw them take her. I don't think I'm safe," she said. He was terrified of speaking to anyone. Then, suddenly, dead. 1 week later, the Finch family received a legal notice, a settlement offer from Disney. $750,000 in exchange for silence. The agreement was sealed. The media never reported it. When pressed by journalists, Disney claimed that the 1994 Mickey costumes, including the one possibly worn that day, had all been destroyed in a warehouse fire in 1997. But internal maintenance logs, later leaked, showed no record of any fire that year. No insurance claims. No fire department logs. The costume incineration story had been fabricated. In January 2024, a strange email landed in the inbox of an independent investigator named Mark Ellis. He had made a career digging into corporate cover-ups. The email subject read, Tunnel 7B. Look deeper. Attached was a high-resolution scan of Disneyland's secret tunnel system, utilidors, used by staff to travel beneath the park. Most tunnels were straight and practical. But Tunnel 7B was different. It branched out from beneath It's a Small World, extended over 400 feet beyond the edge of the official park boundary, and terminated in an unmarked storage building, technically Disney-owned, but not accessible on any public or employee maps. Thermal satellite imaging showed consistent heat signatures coming from the structure. Someone was still using it. The anonymous email also mentioned one name, Employee 4472. Cross-referencing 1994 Disney payroll files revealed the man's name, David Kroll, a character attendant. Fired just days after Emma vanished. The reason? Costume tampering. An archived copy of Kroll's employee termination file showed a black and white photograph taken inside his locker. When enhanced, the corner of a Mickey Mouse glove was visible, torn across the palm. David Kroll had no prior record, on paper. But a deeper background check uncovered this. In 1991, 3 years before being hired at Disney, Kroll had been arrested in Florida for attempting to abduct a 9-year-old girl from a theme park. The charges were dropped when the child's family stopped cooperating. And still, Disney hired him. But who was David Kroll, really? Born in 1964 in Pensacola, Florida, Kroll grew up in a strict, deeply religious household. His father was a pastor, his mother, a piano teacher. Records show he was homeschooled through middle school, later attending a private Christian high school. By 17, he had dropped out. According to a former classmate, David was odd. He kept drawings of cartoon characters everywhere. But he never laughed. It was like he worshipped them. A psychiatric evaluation from 1985, part of a court-mandated review after a minor assault charge, diagnosed him with schizotypal personality disorder. He believed fictional characters could transmit thoughts, and once told a counselor that Mickey watches over me in dreams. Despite this, he obtained a job as a mascot handler at a Florida theme park. There, he was dismissed after a young girl claimed he followed her into a staff restroom. No charges were filed. Kroll drifted from job to job until applying to Disneyland in 1993. Somehow, he passed background checks. A year later, he was on the roster, working near Space Mountain. The tunnel map had clearly been authentic. In February 2024, a group of urban explorers infiltrated Tunnel 7B. Past rusted signs and collapsed tiles, they reached a sealed metal door. What they found beyond it shocked the world. Inside the chamber, blood. Old, but unmistakable. Streaks along the wall. A faded ribbon. A Disney cooler containing a glove soaked in formaldehyde. Emma's blood. Kroll's skin cells. On the back wall, scrawled in marker, the mouse feeds below. But there were other items. A Polaroid photograph of Emma, clearly taken from behind. Date stamped December 13, 94. She's holding her Chio, unaware. The background matches Main Street. That photo was never taken by her family. And beside it, a list of dates and names. Lydia M., November 11, 89, Ohio, Carousel Cave, Marcus V., August 22, 91, Georgia, Adventure Cavern, Elise T., June 2, 93, California, Skyline Drop. Each disappearance had occurred at a different theme park. All cases were closed due to lack of evidence. But now, there was a connection. In March 2024, after the Tunnel 7B discovery made national headlines, a woman named Elise Travers came forward. Now 43, she had vanished from a California theme park in 1993 under similar mysterious circumstances. She had been missing for over a year, then resurfaced in a hospital with no memory of what happened. Her case had been treated as a runaway story. But after seeing Emma's case on TV, everything changed. I recognized the glove, Elise told reporters. The torn glove. I saw it in dreams for years. I didn't know why. Through therapy, Elise recovered fragments of memories, a long hallway underground, a man in costume, a room with cartoon murals painted in red. One detail chilled everyone. She remembered seeing a girl with a red coat and purple scarf. She was crying. They called her the December one. When shown a photo of Emma Roberts, Elise turned pale. "That's her," she said, "that's the girl." This testimony revived a federal investigation, prompting the FBI to open a new task force under the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. But soon after, Elise was found unconscious in her home. Though ruled an overdose, the toxicology report revealed no drug traces. Her brother insists she was silenced. On April 14, 2024, federal agents raided a warehouse registered under Kane Security Solutions, a private firm run by David Kroll under the alias David Kane. The warehouse was 12 miles from Disneyland. Inside, they found decades of memorabilia, VHS tapes, costumes, handwritten notebooks filled with names and dates, many corresponding to unsolved missing persons cases. But the most disturbing find? A journal labeled Offerings. It contained elaborate entries describing ritualistic beliefs. Kroll claimed certain characters required tribute to maintain the park's magic. Children who fit the role were targeted. Emma's entry read, "Red coat. Winter sun. Purest voice." But within 48 hours of the raid, the FBI sealed the case. When journalists requested access, they were told the materials were now under federal protection due to national security interests. What could possibly warrant that classification? Refusing to be silenced, Sarah Roberts launched the Justice for Emma Foundation. She appeared on national television, held press conferences outside Disneyland, and filed multiple lawsuits against Disney for obstruction and wrongful death. Her advocacy led to several former employees contacting her privately. One, under the alias Charlie, worked in Disney security in the early 2000s. He told Sarah about the Red Binder, a locked file stored in Disney's underground offices. It held the real incident reports, he said. Anything the public wasn't supposed to know. He described how higher-ups often used employee misconduct or family misunderstanding as default causes for disappearances or injuries. Emma's file, he claimed, was tagged Level 3, unrecoverable. But before Charlie could testify, he vanished. His phone was found at LAX airport, but he never boarded the flight. No trace of him has been found since. By May 2024, Disney executives were facing unprecedented pressure. Stockholders demanded an internal investigation. Park attendance dropped by 18% in the wake of the Emma Roberts revelations. Hashtags like #JusticeForEmma and #TheMouseNew trended for weeks. A week before the annual shareholder meeting, an anonymous source leaked an internal memo dated January 1995. It was addressed to Disney's then head of security and read, Incident December 14, 94, resolved through internal protocol. No external escalation. If necessary, employ NDA Clause 7b. Clause 7b, rarely referenced, was a legal mechanism granting Disney authority to settle internal disputes privately without external disclosure, including incidents involving injury or disappearance, provided they occurred on Disney property and involved cast members. The clause was quietly removed from contracts in 2001. The leak also included an access log from Tunnel 7B, 4 entries on December 14, 1994. The final entry was timestamped 3:24 p.m., 2 minutes after Emma was last seen. The initials? DK. In June 2024, an investigative journalist named Mina Arakawa from Tokyo contacted Sarah Roberts. She had been researching a similar case, a 10-year-old boy named Hiroshi Tanaka who disappeared from Tokyo Disneyland in 1990. His case bore eerie similarities to Emma's, missing costume footage, erased records, and unexplained security gaps. A confidential whistleblower from Tokyo Disney confirmed the park's underground system also had sealed tunnels, originally for utility access, but later converted into behavioral reset corridors. Through collaborative research, Arakawa and Ellis, the American investigator, found a shocking overlap. David Kroll had visited Tokyo Disney in 1989, on a private exchange tour sponsored by the Character Attendants Guild. His signature appeared on a visitor logbook. So he had been there. Before it all began. One final piece of evidence surfaced in July 2024, a forgotten locker belonging to Kroll, stored in a private Los Angeles storage facility under the name Daniel Kent. Inside was a diary, its pages disturbing, obsessive. The last entry, dated December 13, 1994, read, "She's perfect. She believes in the magic. Her heart beats for the songs. She will be the one who opens the gate." Underneath the entry was a rough sketch of a child standing before a Mickey Mouse statue, arms outstretched. Behind the statue, a door. That sketch matched a location beneath Main Street, confirmed by blueprints. A secret compartment behind the original Mickey statue installed in 1968. When urban explorers returned, they discovered a hidden hatch sealed with bolts. It had not been opened in decades. Inside, clothing scraps, a child's sneaker, and the unmistakable glint of a camera lens, still powered, still recording. Wait for the next mystery of Disneyland. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next.